Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Fixing Up the Commonwealth. We're back at Sunshine Tidings for another building bonanza. I hope you've had a good week, guys. Geez, I'm really enjoying this build. And today's idea, if you watched last week, we have an area just around the back of that big house in front of us there that we got to fill in, and today's suggestion comes from Chaos and Fallout. And he writes, why not have a hunter's area or a food processing area in the back with some Brahmin? So thanks Chaos, big shout out to him and his channel. If you haven't checked him out, please do so. So let's get into the build, and if you want to leave a comment on Fixing Up the Commonwealth, I'm happy to give you a bit of a shout out, and I think we'll do what we've just done and show your comments on screen and give you a little bit of fame. So my idea here is I want to kind of put a little area at the back for people that are preparing for hunting or are coming back from a hunting expedition in the Commonwealth. So I'm just trying to measure up where I'm going to put the first building area, and I have a fairly solid idea what I want to do down here. I'm going to leave that shack as it is. I'm not going to get rid of that. I'm going to try and incorporate that into the build. I'm just looking around here to see if I can get rid of these grasses, which I can't. Get rid of that for a second. And my first idea is just to build a little hunting lodge in this space here. So I'm just looking, if you've seen my previous videos, you would know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get where the kind of part of the land is where we can walk straight onto it, the kind of level part, and then just build straight off of that. So it does take me a little bit of time to get this right, this actual foundation right. And one of the things I want to also do is build underneath it. So I'm very conscious of actually having a path so that I can get down underneath. So we're pretty close to the boundary, nice and tight to the boundary. Actually, we do end up moving this just a fraction. So initially what I've done is I've put in a couple of foundation pieces just to kind of get roughly what area I've got to work with sorted out. And now I'm going to put a shack bridge as a support to go across there, and we'll put that in there for now just to hold that and see what kind of foundation area we've got. Now I can't get under there, but I can get under there, so that's going to be very important as we go through this build. So next thing to do is just try and figure out what kind of floor area we've got. Now I had an initial idea that I wanted to put a house with kind of a veranda or some kind of area to walk around in all the way around. I have to end up scrapping that because the space, that is too tight a space in here. But again, just if you're doing a kind of build like this, just try and put all these out like this and just see how much space you've actually got to play with. In tight areas, it can be, it can be crucial that you get as much building area as you can. Now I'm going to run in a couple issues with the boundary because the boundary is a bit of a strange shape. So I've got to be a little bit realistic of how much kind of square footage I'm going to get from this build. So sometimes you can play around with the different sized pieces, and it'll give you a little bit more space. So I can't get under there, so I'm going to have to move that. So there we go, I can get under there now, and that's going to be important later on, as I said. So all good. We got a fair bit of space here, so I'm not unhappy actually. I'll probably have to glitch a couple of pieces in here. Just in there, use in place anywhere. There we go. Drop it in. There we go. Just to give me that little bit of extra space. And again, with this build, it's completely doing things on the fly. Didn't plan anything. Had one idea of what actually we wanted to build as far as the idea of the building, but not how it would look. And so I just started building here, and you'll see what actually ends up happening here, and what we end up with. But, I was going to put another one of those on there. It won't fit, and then I realise I also can't get underneath if I do that. So, just trying to see where this will fit. See if I can get one on the other side. That won't fit because of the existing building. So, just, you know, this happens when you're building custom builds and custom kind of shacks and stuff like that. So, I'm going to hop underneath here. And I've reconfigured the top area a little bit now, and I'm just trying to get this bottom area sorted out. We can get rid of that without getting rid of the shack, hopefully. Eventually, there we go. So I'm going to put some foundations in here, and I'm going to use these stone ones that come with the warehouse tab, sorry, the barn tab. Just chuck those down to give things to snap off onto. And just give it a little bit of a floor down here. It's going to be probably good enough. As you can see, the boundary's encroaching just a fraction, not too much. And so I'm going to have to snap that into place with place anywhere, but it's okay. It's that's acceptable. I can live with that. And in fact, there's one settler that actually ends up loving it down in this area here. Absolutely loving it. You'll see that person a little bit later on in the build. So I do this with the barn wall. So I like to have those kind of scrappy ones. And I will, the actual hole to the left at the moment, I will kind of block up a little bit later. So I'm not going to make that into a full area as far as having lots of walls and stuff on. I'm going to have to move that across again. There we go. That's actually where I wanted it in the first place. So now that works. No problem. We're going to leave this as a reasonably open area. I'm just going to snap a few more walls in there just to fill it in a little bit. And I think one more. Yep. Come on, that's it. Thank you. And that's as closed in as it's going to be down here. We could actually snap a floor on the top of that, you know, but now that I see this back. But anyway, all good. Have an idea what I suddenly have a light bulb moment and to what to put in here. And it actually leads to something else. So you see what I mean in a sec. Probably not making a heck of a lot of sense at this point. So we're going to put these shack outer walls on there. So that will act as a little kind of window, and then we'll have a little kind of veranda area there. So we need to snap a wall there. Okay, so it's all going swimmingly so far. So we'll pop that on there, and that will make a little outside area in here, which is fantastic. You can have a good look over the Commonwealth. Nice. So just get all the other walls on. You can vary it up as you like. It's a pretty standard build. The doorway that I snap on here, I'm not totally happy with, and I think in the final build I'll probably change it out for something a little bit different. Also had some ideas after I'd done this build on what I could have made this look like, but anyway, it is what it is. Looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So there we go, just pop that over there and use these half walls to fill that in. Really wanted a kind of really run down area that they've put together, just a little clubhouse for them. But I don't want it to look too opulent. I want it to blend in with the kind of megaton copy building, if you like, or cloned building that we've got behind us. I want it to work in with that. Here we go, and coming together beautifully. Now we'll put some railings on here, just some standard railings on the outside here, right there. One on the outside there. I'll have to persuade that one in a second. Okay. It's because we're so close to the boundary, I think it's just not snapping in properly. There we go. So we have a little veranda area here, just anti-shimmer it. And this is kind of the basic structure. Not too complicated. There's something to be said for keeping it fairly simple, and it certainly fits in with the overall look of what we've been doing both on this side of the settlement and on the other. So we'll just pop a roof on, and a lot of this is going to then be decoration. So I'm going to go for these kind of corrugated metal roofs. Never used these a lot, but last couple of builds I've started to use them quite a lot now, and I like to pop them like that. There we go. So I did get a comment on Reddit a week or so ago. I think I shared some of my quick builds with them, and they were kind of saying I should do builds that are a little bit more vanilla, so that some people can follow along. So take that on board, as I do with all your comments that you give me. So I think I've kind of tried to do a mix in this settlement of kind of lore friendly vanilla builds plus obviously using mods. The inside of the hunting lodge will certainly be using some mods to do some pretty neat stuff in there. So doing the run around and looking for ideas as usual. Okay, so let's finish off this area down the bottom, and then we can get into that second area across in front of us and to the right. I'm just going to use these very simple shack railings. I'll pop these in here like this, and then I'm going to put, and there is a gap there that I tried to fill, but in the end I actually put a support post in there, so it really doesn't matter. I think I certainly need to put some rubbish and stuff down here when I decorate, but like old tires and stuff. It does look a little bit plain when I've got it decorated so far, so I need to do a little bit more work down here. But the basic foundation that we're going to put in here is just basically a Brahmin pit, or a Brahmin pen. Kind of keeping with what Chaos was had in mind, and I'm just, as you can see, I'm trying to you can almost see me thinking there, and then again these light bulb moments keep coming for some reason. Just drop that in there and it fills in the gap nicely. The Brahmin will be housed in there, and I do take away that wall and replace it, but I think I put it back in the end. So I put a corrugated iron one in instead. There we go. There we go. So there's not a window there. There we go. Because it's nice and open in here. Okie dokie. So quickly skipping ahead, I'm going to put a little wall in to the left there. I actually end up putting it the wrong way around, so I'm going to have to fix that before I do the final tour. And I'm using these junk walls that come with vanilla extensions. And not a lot of people know that these exist, I think, but they're kind of custom junk walls. Now the problem here, this may not look like a problem at this point, and it takes me a while to get the right angle. The problem that I found out when I was looking around a little bit later on is on the other side of this fence is a couple of barrels, and you can actually step up and look over the wall, which is not really secure as far as raiders coming in and maybe getting into the settlement. So I know that in the real Fallout game that probably doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but to me when I'm building, it's one of those details that annoys me. So here we go, we're going to start. So we finished that area there, and you can see this person down the bottom here drinking a bit of a coffee or a tea or something, likes to sit down here. We've put a few things in here now. I'm going to plug that. So I'm having just a bit of a look around before we get into this area. So I'm going to work in this area now, and we're going to put a series of walls in and make it a little bit more secure. So into the build menu we go. We use a kind of variation of the big tall walls and the short walls, and some other pieces from mods that I find along the way. Try and get this as close as possible, and we might speed up just putting the walls in there. You'll see that I make lots of changes on the fly here, just looking for something. If you're just going to put walls in, it's for me it's not going to be really exciting. So I'm trying to look for something a little bit different to put in there. And you know, I changed what I put in here a couple of times, so so be warned. But I thought I'd speed this up because putting walls in isn't the most exciting thing that you've ever seen, and I think it's a lot of people know pretty much how to do it. Just vary it up, vary the heights. I like to vary the heights. It just makes it look a little bit different. And there we go, fantastic. So now what I've got to try and do is I noticed that there's a kind of area just below that needs blocked up, otherwise people crawl in under there and get into the settlement. So I'm just going to put that in there, get it as tight as possible. There we go. And the last little bit is just to put something into that corner there. So I'm going to go for the prefabs, get the second one, there we go, and we'll drop that in there, and that will make that into something a little bit later on, and you'll probably not see it until the final tour. So there we go, that fits nicely into there. I want it to kind of, the wood just to be poking a little bit through, not too much, the grass growing in there, so it all sells the kind of lower of the build. So that's all working out perfectly for us. That's exactly how I envisaged it. And then now we can start to work on a series of walkways that we're going to use to kind of join and link all these parts of the wall together. So initially what I've done is I've put a whole lot of walkways in, and then I've had light bulb moments. Yeah, I'm going to put the defensive area in there, but what actually ends up happening is I have to rip it all out and redo a heap of this. So that's why I haven't included it. So I'm going to put that in there. Look at that. I've got to rip all this out again. And this is what happens when you're building. You have a better idea, and then you go, oh, got to rip it all out again. You've got to rip half of the building out. But I think this one's definitely worth doing. So I'm going to put that right in there as tight as possible. And then we'll put a little fence in there to fill it in. And so I'm just trying to work out how to transition from this little guard post here up onto the hill. And I thought this is the interesting stuff that will probably help you, so it's worth leaving in, I think. Now I'm going to block the walkway into the toilet there, so I take that out. I certainly have an idea. Why don't we use these stairs here, and that will give us the height we need to move back up onto that platform there, and lo and behold, that all works out perfectly. Look at that. Nice. Very happy with that. And so now I've got to figure out all my walkways again. This happens. So we'll put that back where it was, in there. There we go. And it actually does snap in there, which is good. I like the look of this. Now, there's a gap in there, so we're going to have to put some kind of fence in. So the good old trusty chain link fence just in there. Drop it in. Should be right. There we go. Let's get it into position. Boom. Plugs up that gap. And let's put one of those down in there, like that. It's not quite perfect, but it'll do. I don't know anybody's going to critique me. And then this area here, see that gap in the wall? That was bothering me. So I'm going to do the old chain link fence while we're in the menu. Just going to put one of these down in here. If I can get back in here, just put that in the gap just to block it up. You can still see through it, but at least it's a little bit more secure. Nobody can climb through there now. There we go. And it's often these little details that will help sell your overall settlement. So I'm just doing the flow now to see how everything works, and I do this a lot. So we need to get up onto that platform there, that defensive platform, and so I'm going to go with possibly that other shack foundation bridge, maybe not that one, and look at that, that fits perfectly in there. If you put this one in, it actually overhangs a little bit, which is not ideal. So you have to kind of maneuver your way around. So I end up going with that other one just because it just fits in there perfectly. Sometimes you got to take the little wins, but not before I'm going to fiddle around with all kinds of other configurations. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. Yep, yep. Like it, like it. Should be in there in the first place. Put these little stairs in. Should be able to get them in fairly nicely. And they will clip eventually. There we go. Sometimes you just got to get a different angle. Come on. Come on. There we go. Beautiful. Drop right in there, just like that. So we're pretty much done with this area. We all we need to do, we'll get rid of this because it's just I keep moving it. So let's get it completely out the area. Is mostly decoration now. So we'll put some sandbags in here, and that's pretty much the last thing we'll do before we go to the final tour, which I hope you like. There's lots of nice little touches in this. There you go, drop it in there. So hope you enjoy the tour, guys. Go and see what we've created.
Crop's been growing pretty good lately.
Jeez, walk in the bushes a bit and get a bit scratched up. So go up the side here. As you can see, the fishing poles are ready and waiting for you to go and catch some lovely fish. We'll come back to this area in a minute, but I'm just going to give you a quick pan round and we'll go through each little area individually. So you can see we've got our skins drying in the sunshine. Rather large industrial rack there. Created a little pot here for the tanning process. Cooking cauldron. Little workshop area to do workshop things in. Some meat hanging up, drying there. Defensive area number 1. I've just dressed up a little bit. Yeah, look a little bit more glamorous. And you can see there's a locker there and a seat and whatnot. Now, I did have an issue down here. Suddenly I couldn't get down through there, so I had to change how I got underneath. And I have changed that doorway to the hunting lodge. So here we go. Switched the fence around. There's a Brahmin feeding bath in here, but it suddenly occurred to me when I was doing the tour, there's no way the Brahmin's going to get down here, and if it does, it's going to get stuck. But you can see I switched this fence around for the main reason that you can now hop up onto it and have a good look round, see anybody that's coming. So our friend up here on the defensive area number 2 loves that little seating area down there. There she is.
Huh?
Hi, how you doing? Keeping an eye out for whatever's coming. There we go. And finally the hunting lodge, which I think has turned out really, really nice. Really happy with it. I'll walk in here. Just warm myself by the fire here. Shut the door, keep the heat in. There we go. Nice little hunting lodge for you to relax at the end of a hard day stalking your prey. Guns, you can put your guns back up on the mounts, have a seat, have a drink and have a chat. But my favourite little part of the whole build is this little veranda open area here, because if you really want to, you can do some hunting from right here. Let's just see if we can find somebody, because there's a whole lot of gunners just up here. I think I've already shot out the turret there, but we'll just make sure. Yes, I have. See if we can find somebody. Oh, there's one there. About to find somebody. Let's move underneath the cover. See if we can find somebody. Oh, there's somebody there. I think I can get them. Yep, headshot. And so to next week we'll climb the ladder. Now there's two options. We can either start working on the market again down there, or we can turn around, come on, a little bit further, or we can work in this area here, guys. Leave me some comments, tell me what you want, tell me some ideas of what we can build down there, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.